There's a problem around the world. The whole planet is become a world of the super rich and the very poor. Even in those so-called developed nations that you can think or talk about right now, they are nations of the super rich and the poor. 90% of the wealth in America is controlled by only 1% of the population. All around the world, it's the same problem in every nation. We've become a planet of gods and man. 99% of the minerals and the wealth on the planet are controlled by a handful of people, individuals, less than 1%. We've become a planet of the super rich and the very poor. That is inequality, discrepancies that must be redressed. Unfairness, inequality, it is deception. Even in the developed world, so-called developed world, most of the world is controlled by a handful of people. There must be equality. It's not a local problem, it's not a national problem, it's an international problem. International. The world are ruling over the people, they're ruling over the masses, they're ruling over 99% of the people. They own and control more than 90% of the world. More than 99% of the wealth on the world is controlled by a handful of people. More than 99% of the wealth on the planet is controlled by a handful of people. A handful. There's injustice, they're looting, oppression. The salaries are too poor. Even in companies that make a lot of money, the salaries are still paltry. It's not fair. The employees must be paid based on the kind of profit that the companies are making. There cannot be such injustice or oppression. 50% of all the profits made by any company must go to the salaries. The salaries of all employees in the private sector must be even, from the manager to the ones wiping the floor. No one is doing more work than the other. The salaries of all the people in the government must be equal, from the president to the ministers, to the soldier, to the teachers. That is how they will fight for your salaries and empathize and sympathize with the situation. How can they understand your situation when their salaries are inflated? How can they understand? The only way that they can understand and fight for your salaries is if your salaries are equal. No one is doing more work than anyone else. You're all you're applying the same amount of effort, the same amount of energy. No one is doing more work than the other. No one is working harder than anyone. No one is working harder than anyone. The salaries must be even. In the government sector, in the private sector, the salaries must be equal, even. The president must earn the same amount of money as any other civil servant, as the teacher, as the soldier. That is how they will fight for your salaries. That is how they empathize, sympathize with you. You must not be a land, a continent, a country, a planet of gods and man. There must be equality, fairness. It is only one step towards achieving equality. The salaries must be equal in the private sector. For all employees at a company, the salaries must be equal. For all employees in the government sector, the salaries must be equal. We cannot be a land of gods and men. Who say that they're gods? It's your money they're enjoying after all. You put them in power, then they start living opulent lifestyles. They forget about you. They forget about your suffering. They start living opulent lifestyles, enjoying all this money. All this money. They forget about you. They forget about your suffering. They're enjoying so much of your own money. That is your money that they're enjoying. Your money. You're funding, providing, and voting for their luxurious lifestyles, and then they forget about you. They're supposed to serve you. They're your employees. You're the ones who are paying them. They're supposed to serve you. They are supposed to serve you, to work for you. Yeah, they're paymasters. They're supposed to work for you. All those ministers, they're supposed to be working for you. But they've become gods. Your lords, your gods, and your kings. The salaries must be equal. The ministers must earn the same amount of money as the teachers, as the soldiers. Equality. It mustn't be mere rhetoric, mere talk. Equality, fairness. Not a land of gods and men. Just because akagara muofisi achinyora mapepa doesn't mean akushanda kudarika vanhu vese. Tese tiri kushanda. Ari kukora bhapafula ari kushanda futi. Mari ngaienzane. Wa one body. Handiti hatingati chigona china basa, hatingati zisa rina basa. Tese tiri kushanda. Equality. Kwete yengotaura nemuromo. You vote for them, then they become your gods and your kings. Super rich. Nemari yenyu futi yoyo. It must come to an end. Vote ZEDPF. Vote for equality. Fairness. My name is Leon Dawi. I'm the spokesman for President Brighton Chikaka.